What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about some long-term stuff. I want to go over where, not just where, but when I think we could see the end of the cycle for Bitcoin, when we could see the all-time high being put in, and when we can expect to see new all-time highs. So all-time high is going to be the end of the cycle, right? New all-time highs is going to be when we break this point here. Okay, so we're going to go over both of those things. In the more immediate term, you know, if you watched my video yesterday or saw the silent video from the day before that had the title, I do think we're going to move up to about 43,500 and then move our way down to about 34.9 thousand. We could move higher than 43.5. We absolutely could. So just because we go above 43.5 does not mean that it's over to the downside. I'm just calling for that 43.5 area because that's right where your 0.5 is from the relative high to low. That would set in some kind of a bull trap. I think a lot of people would be looking to the 618 area, so that might catch some people off guard. But to be fair, if we put a line right here at the 618, the golden retracement itself, from the relative high to low, that's kind of below it, but it's still in that area nonetheless. It's also this previous area of resistance. So we might go up to about 44.6, 44.7K. That price target is on the table. I personally am just expecting 43.5, closer to that. But we could go up here and still inevitably go lower. That would still be a lower high, finding resistance at previous areas of resistance. But that's not what this video is about. I just wanted to go over that, you know, before getting into the longer term stuff. What I want to measure is it's a couple of very basic things. Very, very basic things here, okay? So we're on the index chart. You type in BTC USD on the index, all-time history index. It's the longest, most historical data that we have for Bitcoin. If we take this from an all-time high perspective, right, on the monthly, we measure to the next all-time high. That took us 30 months to achieve. 30 months. We do the same thing. All-time high to the next all-time high. 48 months, okay? And these were early days compared to more relative days, okay? And you can see 48 months, 30 months, here from all-time high to all-time high, 47 months. 30, 48, 47. Very close on these last two. Very, very close. Let's even look, let's do something else. So 30, I wonder if I could write, do I want to write this down? We'll write it down, sure, why not? Let's see. We'll do 30, 48, and 47. I know it looks strange, but we'll just remember that as first, second, last, right? I guess this would technically be like the second all-time high, but you know what I mean by first, second, last. Okay, we'll keep those numbers there. Oh, goodness. Come on now. Now what I want to measure is how long from the bottom to the high that it took to form, okay? So from the low, like when we started to turn up, not the first low, but from the low that we started to turn up here. You know, and it's debatable. Maybe it was this low, maybe it was this low. I feel like this low is noticeably different than that low, like on a percentage basis where that one was a double bottom. But you got 35 bars here, 25 bars, 28 bars, all kind of like within that range, getting longer if that even makes sense. Let's see. That one's 35 bars on the dot. Hey, maybe we should take it from that low. I don't know. Let's just see. Let's see how this works. 28 bars, 19 bars. Yeah. See, 20 bars. I don't think that's right. So I feel much more confident taking that. Maybe it's 28. Maybe it's 35. They line up pretty well. Let's go to this here, and let's do 25 to 35 because the other one was 28, so it's still within that range. So 25 bars would put us at December of this year that we find our high. So we at least have the rest of this year, right? I think that we have longer than that though. 28 bars would be all the way in March of next year, and then 35 bars would be October of 2025. And I actually think October is going to be the month in 2025 where we find our high, personally. Without even seeing this before, but I kind of think less so now because we're going to have 35 bars in a row each time. Maybe. Now we do this, okay, 30, 48, 47. So if we took from this current all-time high, we did 30 bars. That'd put us in May of this year. I don't think we're going to find our all-time high in May. personally. You know, it's like right after the halving. 48 bars and 47 bars were the next ones. That's November of 2025. 47 again, October of 2025, the end of 2025, okay? Lining up with what we've seen, again, only 3 iterations. We're going off of these 2. It's not a whole lot of historical data, but it does line up with a lot of different things, you know. Now, let's do the halvings, okay? The halving, the very first halving happened in November of 2012, but it was November 28th, so technically it would have been actually pretty close to December. Like you were literally like 3 days away from being December, but whatever, we can count it as November, even though it was really close to December. So from then to the all-time high, that took 13 bars. The next one was July of 2016. From then to the all-time high, 17 bars. The next one was May of 2020, May 11th. To the all-time high was 18 bars. Again, very close with this previous cycle, right? So if we were to see our halving in April, right, of this year, 13 bars first off would take us to May of 2025, which could be a possibility. But the 17 would be September, the 18 would be October again showing up, okay? Again, showing up. So there was one more thing that I wanted to go over, and I can't remember. What was it? Man, there was something that I wanted to go over. It was another thing in correspondence with this. I can't remember. Oh yeah, okay. When are we going to break our all-time highs? Maybe when. You know, we don't actually know when, but let's just go off of when we have in the past. So here we didn't break our all-time high. It was this month here. It took 20 months to break our all-time highs. Well, that's very close. Here, from all-time high to when we actually broke it, would have been this month here, 39 bars later, 39 months. All-time high to when we broke it. Let's see. High at 19,804. This we technically broke it here, technically. So 39 bars, 35 bars, okay? Pretty damn close. I don't think it's going to be 20 bars. I think we're already past that, actually. But high to where we are now, yeah, we're at 26. So 35 being the smallest, like the next step to kind of expect, would put us in October of this year. October of this year that we break our all-time highs, okay? October. And then if it was 39 bars, that would be February of 2025 that we break these all-time highs. Not that we set the all-time highs, but that we break them, okay? And now I want to do something in correspondence with this to kind of give us an idea of how much we're going to grow after we break the all-time highs. I personally think we could break our all-time highs sometime in October. I know that that doesn't sound right to a lot of people. They think the ETF's got approved. We're going to break the all-time highs today, tomorrow. You know, why haven't we done it already? We should go back in time and break them already. You know, like that's not how it's going to work. It's not how it's worked throughout any of these cycles. The Bitcoin halving, as insignificant as some people want to believe it is nowadays, it's one of the most significant economic events in the world. Like not just for Bitcoin, but in the world. And as time goes on, it'll continue to gain more economic prominence in the world for how significant it is actually. It's all math. It's all time-based, man. It really is. I mean, it's math-based and it's set in certain periods of time. That's what gives it a base in time. But okay, so 35 months is whenever it took to break. I actually want to put a line right there real quick, just so that I've got that. And then sure, we can do 39 months too. 35, 39. I've got one last thing that I want to do, okay? The last thing that I want to do is when, after we broke our all-time high, right, on this month, how long did we have before we found our top? 9 bars, okay, here. Right? Here we were on this one. 10 bars there. And then here we were right here on that one there. Found our all-time high in 12 bars, okay? So 10, 9, 12, all very close. In my opinion, that's like some of the closest deviations that we've had actually. You know, we didn't find our all-time high here. That's why I'm not measuring it. I don't count that. And you can see on the charts, a lot of people want to act like this this was the all-time high, this is a double top. Like, no, that's the all-time high, man. There's some people who call this as the all-time high and they're afraid of letting it go. So for the sake of being right, they just don't want to actually accept the facts in the charts. But let's be real here. It took us 12 months. After we technically formed new highs, we broke the all-time high level, it took us a year. A year, 9 months, 10 months. Okay. So if we are potentially projected to break our all-time highs of about 69K in October of this year, maybe at the earliest like September or August, but probably October, like give or take a month, it doesn't have to be exact, but based off of previous events, October. Let's say 9 months out is whenever we find our all-time high. That's July of 2025, okay? Still a lot of time. 10 months would be August, and then 12 months would be, you guessed it, October of 2025. This just seems to keep coming up. Okay, can't make this up, you guys. I really can't make this up. Now, if it were to happen at any other point from here to like between the 39th month after forming its low, or whatever that, I think that was from forming its low to the high, or no, it was from the halving to the high. I forget what it was. Man, I'm all over the place. But if it was from this like far out date, which I don't think we're going to break the highs, I personally think that by February of 2025 we already would have broken the highs. But if not, 9 bars being the minimum amount of time that it took us to find our high afterwards would take us to November of 2025. 10 bars would take us to December of 2025, and 12 bars would take us to sometime in 2026. Now, that is the furthest out projected that we've seen throughout this whole video. And it is possible. It is absolutely possible that it could be early 2026 before we start having our bear market, like while Bitcoin is still pumping. It could genuinely pump through 2025 and into 2026. It is possible. A lot of people, myself included, are expecting that the second half, specifically the fourth quarter of 2025, being the area that we're going to find our all-time highs. Maybe late Q3, but probably early Q4 is what, a lot of people, myself included, are thinking. So could we be wrong? I think so. The fact that a lot of people have their eyes on that does stand to give it a more probable chance that won't happen. But here's my theory on that is right now, when we're so far away from it, when we're figuring things out, we've got the more immediate term stuff like clouding our judgment. I think it's okay if we all have the same goals in the end, because as we get closer to this period at the end of 2025, I think people will change their plans. The less disciplined minds, they'll abandon their plans and they'll be like, oh, we're just going to be in a bull market till 2027. Or it'll get to like July and they're going to be like, that's it, the bull market's over, and they're going to miss the extreme phases of the bull market. What I'm trying to get at is right now, the herd having the same mentality might not mean that there's herd mentality around where the ending is going to be. Even though we all expect it now, it might not be that expectation at that time, if that makes sense. People can change their minds. There's a lot of time, like literally over a year and a half, for people to change their minds. And who knows what will happen in order to do that. What world events might happen, what economic events might happen, where the price will be, who knows. Maybe Bitcoin will jump from 200,000 to 300,000 overnight and people are like, that's it. And then it continues to grow. And that leaves me with my final bit of information that I want to go over, which I know I've gone over in a few different videos, but where will Bitcoin be by the time it finds its all-time high? Nobody knows. I have a theory though. Top to bottom here, we hit our 1272. And this is the same old spiel, guys. I've given it on most of my Bitcoin videos as of late. Top to bottom here, we hit the 2272 again, right? 2272 there, 2272 there, right? Top to bottom, all-time high to bear cycle low, 2272. Top to bottom, all-time high to bear cycle low, 2272 for the next all-time high. Last cycle, top to bottom, we only went to the 1618. Okay, we only went there, and I'm not going to go over why I think we're going to go past the 1618 on this next cycle. I've gone over that in a lot of my previous videos. I will say in short why. It's because during this phase, the most bullish phase of Bitcoin breaking out, which is after the halving toward the end of the cycle, right? It moves up a little bit here, but it moves up the most at the end of the cycle. It moves up a little bit here, but it moves up the most at the end of the cycle, right? After the halving. The most bullish phase for Bitcoin was also a time when the DXY, the US dollar, was seeing strength. It was growing. It was expanding. Never in a bull cycle's history for Bitcoin, and we only have a few, but never have we seen a cycle where during the strongest phase, let alone like anywhere in the bull cycle actually, did we see the dollar expanding. Last cycle we did. The dollar was expanding. Bitcoin is priced versus the dollar. So if the dollar is gaining strength, that's going to make it harder for anything to grow against it, in my genuine opinion. And I think that's why we saw the 1618 for this high. That's why we saw that 1618 and not the 2272. The dollar is in a consolidation phase, and I made videos on this previously. I'm not going to go over it now, but I'll just give it like in short. The dollar's in a consolidation phase right now, and it's in my opinion, from the analysis I've given, it's projected to be in a consolidation phase until sometime in 2027, 2028. Okay. The bear market or the bull market, as we just went over, it's going to be going in like to late 2025, early 2025 at the earliest, right? So that's not 2027 or 2028. The dollar won't expand until 2027 or 2028. That's when it's projected next to expand. Okay. Even if it happens a year earlier, 2026, we're still good. Even if it happens a year later, 2029, we're still good for this cycle, right? Maybe that affects the next cycle, but for this cycle, who cares, right? We're focused on this cycle. So what I'm trying to get to, all that to say, all-time high, current all-time high to cycle lows, as we saw from this high to this low, it was a 2272 extension. From this high to this low, it was a 2272. The one time that it didn't hit the 2272, we were stifled by the dollar, which this is priced against. The dollar was in an expansion phase at the same time as Bitcoin, and I very much believe that's why, amidst a bunch of other things, that we did see the 2272 hit. The 2272 from here, from top to bottom, is all the way up at $462,000. And each time that we hit that 2272, on this one and this one, we actually went a little bit above it. And what is right above 462,000 is that 500, that's almost 500,000. Like you can see how close 462,000 to 500,000, that sounds a lot bigger in our heads, and it is. It's a big difference in my opinion, percentage-wise and everything. But if you look at it on the charts, it's really not that big of a difference. Like in comparison to this here, top to bottom, like look at that, right? It's about the same, right? Not even, that's actually closer. You know, top, I know that this one was even further up. If I can get it, top to bottom. Okay, that actually might be more, this one I guess was further away, this one was closer, but that might be more to what we're going to see on this cycle. All that to say, you guys, I'm expecting, and you can go back and watch all the reasons why, feel free to rewatch this as much as you want, to see all the times that the specific month of October 2025 came up in literally every bit of this analysis. Look at how often it happened. How much that makes sense just based off of what we've seen chronologically from the two previous cycles, okay? When things are more established, okay? Not in the crazy mania phases, right? When things are more established. This is why I think we're going to be at a price of $460,000 to $500,000, somewhere around there, by October of 2025, okay? And if October is all the way here, right? It's right here. That would mean that more or less Bitcoin's going to see a trajectory like that, right? And it might move down some months, it might move up, it might move down, whatever. But like we're going to see some kind of like just extreme nonstop trajectory. And absolutely, we can go on pause for a second and then see a huge like the line that I had a second ago, this line, look at how slanted that is compared to this. Like it literally just goes like straight up. Compared to this, it literally goes straight up. Look at the slope difference. I know if you take all this away, I know that seems a bit extreme, but really for Bitcoin, that's not extreme at all. It's really not extreme at all. And that gives us time also, again, to meander. We can meander and then have our, maybe not meander like that. We can go down, we can meander. And then toward the end of the cycle have our, upwards. And I know that this is all the way out in 2027, but that's not, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I hope it made sense. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to see more. 460,000 to 500,000 Bitcoin, October 2025. Mark it on your calendar. Not financial advice, but it is my opinion. Bye-bye.